It's your girl, Leisha. Welcome to this celebratory interview on The Real Show. I'm very excited about this series that I'm doing and these interviews with such amazing people. So, as you all know, this has been a year, and as overwhelming as it's been, uh, I wanted to talk to people who are doing things, creating things, or growing things. And that is what my first guest here has done. And I'll just introduce him and let him tell you a little bit about himself so we can kind of get to know him if you don't already know him. So, welcome to the show, Mr. Claude Harris Jr., aka Claude Deuce. Thank you so much for coming.
Man, thanks for having me, Alicia.
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
A little bit about me. I am born and raised in Augusta, Georgia. Um, I am a PK. I am the son of pastors Claude and Regina Harris. Um, my husband, my brother. Um, I'm a co-pastor at one of our locations, New Life West in Martinez, Georgia. And I'm also a gospel music artist, songwriter, producer, and just entrepreneur, just really trying to do some things, and then with music and with clothing and things of that nature, and tie it all into ministry.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see some extra questions I'm going to ask you. But that's exciting because I've known you, 10 years now?
Yeah.
10 years? Which is crazy in itself. But, and just seeing all of the things that you've done and all of your progression. And then, you dropped an album a couple weeks ago. So tell us a little bit about that. Well, I don't know if that's the thing you're going to celebrate.
Yeah.
But, what
Yeah.
have you accomplished? What are you celebrating? How are you thriving in 2020?
The album, as you mentioned, it came out on September 25th, and it's called 39. And it's very special to me because I actually wanted to release it last year. I think around the time we met, I was promoting an album called Young Elder. And Young Elder was released in 2009. And so I wanted to kind of release 39 10 years later, in 2019. And just seems like, creatively, I couldn't finish the album. I started on it, and then, I got married last year, and, you just really don't know how certain life events like that will impact, what you do. And so it wasn't a negative thing per se. It was just that, life happens and you have to make adjustments. And so one of those adjustments for me was kind of backing away from, my personal studio, as much. So album didn't come out, and then we came into this wonderful, marvelous, awesome, amazing 2020, and this pandemic hit, and everyone was sheltering in place. And at the end of March, I contracted COVID-19, and still not really sure, how it happened, who I got it from, or whatever. But my case was serious because I had double pneumonia with the COVID-19. So my breathing, was definitely challenged. Lungs compromised, So there was, even after I got over it, it was about a 2-week experience for me. Even after I got over it, couldn't sing like I wanted to. I actually had lost my voice during that time, and it came back, maybe like 2 weeks after I had no symptoms. 2 weeks after that, and then even when it came back, it wasn't as strong as it normally would be. And you go through all kind of challenges getting over some of that. Something you're able to do, like sing, you know what I mean, and then you can't. And then when you feel like you can, you realize that, okay, my breath support, is not as strong as it needs to be. So it was almost like, if you can imagine someone learning how to walk again after, like, say, a car accident or whatever.
Yeah.
It was kind of like I had to get my breathing together. I had to, retrain my voice. And so that just put the album on hold even more. Didn't really think I was going to get it out. So that's why I'm celebrating 39, because we released it. I was able to finish it and get it done. And, it's something I think worthy of celebration.
Absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
listen, we all know that life can upend certain things and even
Yeah.
our plans, and we want to do certain, whatever, and then life happens, and not that it's bad,
Yeah.
it's just life. And the fact that even with all of the things you went through with COVID,
Yeah.
and even how that played on your psyche through your,
Mm-hmm.
through your health, like a thing you were able to do, now you weren't able to do it like you did it before.
Right.
Would you say that was your greatest hurdle in this
For
process?
this year? Yeah. And I'm glad you brought out the psychological piece. That is a big factor because, when you lay down at night, maybe, you say your prayers, doubt can kind of manifest and creep in, and you're like, I wonder if I'm ever going to get my voice back fully. I wonder if I'm ever going to be able to do things vocally that I used to do, you know. And it was all kind of challenges. Like I could sing or whatever, but then like when I would isolate my vocals and I could hear like the struggle. I could hear, and I'm like, I don't want people to hear that on the recording. So I ended up redoing things. And even that
Right.
in itself is frustrating because then you get to a point in a day where you're like, all right, I'm done. I'll try again tomorrow. It was a lot to get over just in that whole process of 39, making 39. It was, yeah, that was the greatest hurdle this year.
Did you even see yourself doing that at the beginning of this year? Like finishing the album and well, I know nobody saw COVID coming.
Right.
Did you see yourself doing the album before all of this happened? Like finishing the album?
Yeah, definitely. I'm one of them type people too that I like to post things, and I had to learn. I like to post things a bit prematurely, as a means to keep me in line with the schedule I set or the schedule that I posted. So in my Claude Deuce Facebook page, I had told people, last summer that last fall I was going to drop this album, and it was like sort of like the 10-year anniversary to Young Elder and all that. And so when that didn't happen, I definitely set out to release it this year. I was like, okay, it's got to come out this year. Delays happen. And then there were some other things, I had an offer. I had a distribution offer from E1, and I was kind of going back and forth with that. Now, that didn't come till the pandemic. That actually hit in the pandemic, and which would have probably delayed the release of 39 even more. Like, y'all probably wouldn't have even heard of a 39 until next year. So I made my, decision to say, okay, I'm going to go ahead and put this album out this year independently. And then if the offer still stands, maybe I could do a little distribution situation with E1 for next year. So, yeah, I set out this year to go ahead and put this album out.
Well, that's great that you got it out, that you overcame COVID and all that comes with it to
Mm-hmm.
put out such an amazing, amazing project. Which I've
Thank
listened
you.
to, by the way. And I'm not just saying that because like we're friends,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, I love the process of creating. I'm not a musician by any means, but I love music, and I love hearing people's progress through their music. So,
Yeah.
what you sounded, I still have Young Elder. What you sounded like on Young Elder, and what is the one you put out something else after that? I can't remember the name of it. I just
Yeah,
remember in the mirror. The
it
one
was
you
a couple things. I had the very last thing that I did was 6 years ago. It was Praise and Worship Files. And then
I think I have all your stuff. But the one
Mhm.
the digital analog, that one.
Oh yeah, analog, yeah.
Okay, it was analog. I was like, there's something digital in an analog world or something, or analog in digital world. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, I was going through my iTunes. I was like, yeah, I think I have all of this stuff.
Yeah.
and so I mean, I'm a fan. I'm a friend and I'm a fan. Like I enjoy,
Thank you.
and I also enjoy seeing your progression in music. Like
Thank you.
I think the great thing about creatives is that when we go back and look, like at the time when we did this, whatever we created, it was like, oh, this is hot, this is great. And then we,
Right.
10 years later, looking back, like, what was I thinking?
Right.
But still, it's not that it wasn't great. It's still great because it was part of your process and creativity, but you can see your growth. And
Yeah.
that is amazing, especially in this year when there's so many other things happening and you're
Yeah.
able to produce something. And you even went back on a couple songs and grabbed them from Young Elder,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Just kudos to you on putting
Thank you.
out 39 and still being here after COVID
Thank you. I'm
and
grateful to God.
thriving and everything with that. What with all that you went through, all that you've experienced this year, what did you learn about yourself in the process?
I learned that I'm very resilient. I learned that, you know, yeah, I'm really a tough individual, because the COVID experience was a lot. I've never, I was telling people I've never, felt like that before. I've never been that down before, in my body. And to experience things like my extremities were like cold for even like after I had no symptoms. I think another week and a half after that, my hands and my feet, it seemed like they never would warm up. And you can associate that with like someone that's dying. You know what I mean? And I was like,
Right.
what is going on with my body? It was all kind of reactions, and they're all kind of, being that it was a novel, virus, and no one really knew the impact, post COVID.
Right.
And so I was looking at all kind of reports saying that, people really don't know the impact this is going to have on their body. Some people say you'll never have full strength in your lungs. You'll never have this, it affects other organs. It was like, it was so many different things to make you just want to give up, but I found out how tough I was through this whole process and just, kept going. So, and I also learned the importance of family, the importance of like having a strong unit and appreciating your unit. Um, my family was a huge help, from my wife taking care of me to my parents and my sister, even like bringing us food, like even, just making sure we were good during that process. So it brought up the appreciation level for a lot of things in life.
I mean, that's awesome. I think this year is kind of showing us all how
Hmm.
resilient we are and how resourceful we are as well.
Yeah.
Um, because we kind of have to go, at least for me, kind of had to go back to, I really had to go back to purpose. Like, what was I created for? Because,
Yeah.
most, for me, my business is mostly dealing with people face to face. Like I'm, taking pictures or,
Mhm.
or videos or anything like that. And then I'm like, nah, I can't, I can't fool with you. 6 feet ain't enough for me because we don't know what this is about. So now what can I do? And, for me doing things like this and doing podcasts and radio, like I was like, man, I did podcasts before people knew what a podcast was.
Right.
But, you know, my purpose is to talk to people and encourage people and to hear their stories and to learn and grow from it as well. So why not go back to that? So
Yeah.
here we are with this.
Yeah, we
So
are.
I'm grateful for the opportunity to hear your story, to see your growth as a person and as an artist, and just what you've created in this year after all you've experienced. But with all of that, what advice or encouragement would you give someone who is experiencing 2020?
Yeah. Definitely. And you said a lot there. Tap into your purpose. 2020 definitely has shown us that we have to know who we are, know what we were put here to do, because if you are unsure of those things, that's when heavy anxiety and depression can set in on you. It's, and I'm not making light of people who deal with those things, by any means, because sometimes just being stuck in the house all day, that can cause different, triggers to
Man,
take place in people, and just having, one moment having human interaction and being able to just, you may have a cool handshake you do with people, and it's not even safe to do that anymore, and just hug people and just, go out to eat. And, one of the first things I missed a month in or 2 months in was just, placing my order. You know what I'm saying? Like sitting down, saying, I'd like for an appetizer. I'd like, we weren't doing that. So, it was so many things, like, then the sports world was kind of taken away from us for a little while. We were unsure how all that was going to start. So I would just admonish, like, tap into your giftings and tap into what you were placed here to do. That's going to help you fill up that time that you feel like, okay, I'm bored. You know, write that book. Take that time to go ahead and finish that book. There's different ways you can get it done. You can write it. You can do an audio book. You know what I'm saying? Start your podcast. You know what I mean? Like, it's all kind of things you can do now. You got drop shipping, that you could do with clothing, where you never have to visit the post office. You can just design on this one site and then set it up with a store and let this site fill the orders. You know what I mean? It's like, pick up a hobby, just tap into your purpose. That's what I would say to anybody dealing with 2020. Tap into your purpose, examine your circle, people that you have around you, your associations, because we all should be building each other up. That's what you need right now. You need those people in times like this, so yeah, purpose is huge.
so I'm going to ask you a question that has nothing to do with anything. Just because you've been looking at my frame on the camera, and then you said write the book, you look directly at the camera. So I felt, I don't know. I was like, were you talking to me? Did you hear from Jesus? Did he tell you about this?
Listen, me too. I got to do that too. I got to finish a book too.
Got it. Now, and because you said it on a recorded line, know that I am holding you to that.
All right. Yeah, I got to do it too. I got to finish it. I mean, I've been writing this one book for about 3 years. I need to go ahead and finish it.
Yes, sir. Finish it. Yeah. This would be a great year to do that. Just saying.
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned earlier a clothing line. So tell us a little bit about that, and then also tell us how we can find out more about you wherever.
All right. Well, the clothing line. I think what I would like to do with that, it started out with just, as an artist, having merchandise to go along with the music. So I was going to have, 39 shirts, with the 39 album cover on it, maybe some phrases from a couple of the songs. But then I really, as I began to design, I was like, this could really turn into something long term. Like right now, we'll start out some shirts and some hoodies, maybe some sweaters, maybe book bags, different phone cases, accessories. So, but maybe this really could be something where one day I'm actually designing and pressing shirts, and so my company is Living It Productions. So of course, naturally, it would be like LI Apparel, Living It, apparel or something like that. And the best way to reach me and get to all those things, I have a link tree. And so the link is linktr.ee/ClaudeDeuce. And that will, you'll see a few tabs. It'll take you to Apple Music, my album link, Google Play, Spotify. If you want to see the listening party that Big Al and I did, that tab is on there. If you want to see the merch, I think the merch is the first tab on there. So I try to link everybody. I even have a music video that's going to be dropping. That tab is on there as well. So, I'm trying to make use of that whole Linktree thing. So check me out on Linktree.
Well, I will absolutely make sure that it shows up at the bottom.
Appreciate it.
There. Well, thank you, Deuce, for being an amazing guest and sharing your story with us and allowing us to celebrate all of these things with you. I look forward to more great things. I mean, honestly, I think it goes back to the way we met and in the environment we met. We all kind of had not an expectation of greatness, but we were just kind of all great. Not being braggadocious, but we were all.
That's true.
Like
That's
we
true.
were all like into something, and just being able to see the journey and be part of the process is an amazing thing to me, and I enjoy it. I celebrate you, and I'm so glad and so happy for you and all of your endeavors, and I look forward to more.
Likewise. Thank you.
All right, y'all. Well, you guys can look through the site, check out things, and come back, because we're going to have more. We're going to have more celebrations with this real show. We've got a lot of people to celebrate, so I'm excited about it. So you guys keep it locked, subscribe, whatever you're going to do, whichever platform you're on watching this, and I look forward to more celebrations right here on The Real Show.
Yeah.